I know Gordon's already done one, so I'll try and avoid duplicating, but nice to see you back again. So, how long did it take you to make the decision when the call came?
I was over at a Liverpool game watching the 21s, you know, and I take a lot of the games in. Certainly around the Sheffield and Yorkshire areas, I was taking a lot of them games in for the geographical place before I got the sack, and then started taking the Northwest games in, and got a call from the chairman just saying, you know, can we meet up? So we met up and just in a really engaged conversation. But within 20 minutes, I knew I wanted to work for the man. You know, I knew I wanted to work. And being around what he was doing, being around the project, I'd sort of seen from the outside the project and what was happening, and obviously the JD sponsor, you know, and sort of asking how them deals are getting pulled off, and you know, we're dealing with a guy here who's got an incredible appetite for success for Bury Football Club.
Has he set you any sort of targets?
No, we've got a shared vision, and that wasn't sort of, you know, the chairman's vision. It was something that over 6 to 8 to 12 hours conversation, deep conversation, we come up with a brand of football that certainly I believe in, and that I want to try and engage in. And I think it was more an identity of a Bury player and what that looks like, and who that represents, and what it represents. And I've got a really clear vision of who that individual is, whoever he is, whatever position he is. But then from a team perspective, how I want to play football and the style of play, and that's something that, you know, I'll be really rigid with.
Is that individual you're looking for? Is it like looking in a mirror? You know, a mirror of you?
No, it's not. Not as a player, it's not. You know, I was honest. I had integrity, but certainly I've gone away and understood and really become obsessed with coaching and making players better, developing players. That's something that, you know, I've been good at, and I've enjoyed doing. I've enjoyed spending time with, you know, whether it's young kids or lads at 34, 36-year-old, setting an environment where lads can enjoy but improve is something that, you know, I've become quite accustomed to. So that's something we're going to bring to the football club. But, you know, certainly a brand of football that's a different culture to what we've probably been used to, and I was as a player.
You've only been out of the job, about 2 weeks. It's still a bit raw at the time.
No, because I was
over it.
Oh, without a doubt, you know, you soon got to get over it, and I've got a great family who sort of helped me with that, and with that process. But it was 48 hours, and then, you know, it was a case of start looking for what else is out there and start building a profile. You know, I'm not daft. I knew that my next job was probably League 2 or League 1, and I had a few offers that sort of in coaching at a few different clubs. But, you know, this is an opportunity to really define what I am as a manager and become a good manager. And I've got this chance, I've got this opportunity now, which I'll grasp and take, and it's something I'm really looking forward to.
I know at this level, Flick, you've got to do everything, but do you see more as a manager or as a coach? I know it's a combination.
Head coaching the way I think, head coaching the way I go about my business, but then, you know, leader of men. You know, I enjoy leading people, I enjoy leading men, and I enjoy managing people. I think it's really important if you want to develop someone, if you want to make him better and improve him, you've got to understand him, you've got to know about him, you've got to give him support and love, and find the good in him, and find the good in that player. I think too many coaches, managers look for the bad in a player and tell you what they can't do and what they won't do. You know, I'm probably flip reverse to that. I'll find the good in them and make sure that I make them better.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right, and you don't get a CV on your table telling you what you can't do. It's a TV what you can do. Exactly right. Yeah, I mean, you did a great job at Barnes, didn't you? I mean, that last day was wonderful watching on TV, and I text one of your backroom staff straight away and said, "This is wonderful." Do you feel you should have been given a little longer time? Because I think you should.
Possibly, but honestly, you know what I found out about myself. I was given an incredible opportunity to manage in the Championship, and it's a league that totally encapsulates you. It's an incredible league. You know, at times look at the Premiership and it's quite sterile. You almost know the outcome of the games. In the Championship, you don't. You've not a clue. You've always got a fair and equal opportunity of winning a football match, and that's what I enjoy about the Championship. But I think more than anything, it gave me an opportunity to know I could be a number one. You know, and I've worked under an incredible boss in Keith Hill for a lot of years, and studied Keith and studied the ways in which he goes about his work. You know, you don't know until you step into them shoes. You don't know if you can become a number one. I enjoyed it, I embraced it, and you know, thankfully I've got another opportunity to work in football.
Yeah, I mean, it's some achievement really, because I mean, I know that there in terms of you know, they're not one of the big hitters by any stretch, Barnsley are in the wage bills, and I think maybe your star striker, you lost your Vaz and your Butterfields and so on and so forth, and then I think Scotland, I believe, could hardly train. You know, he was going from game to game, wasn't he? So you're almost your hands behind your back in some respects.
You can look at it like that, or you can sort of embrace it and say, you know, every time I go on a field, I'll count how many men there, and there's 11v11. There always will be, and we really had a mentality, certainly last season, a siege mentality that, you know, we weren't getting beat. I think what happened over the summer, you just saw the game, and every team, there's a ridiculous appetite to, one, get out of the league in the Championship, and two, to stay in that league. You know, the prizes for and against are quite massive, and everybody's, you know, upspent the budget, and everyone else improved. So where we sort of improved our squad, everyone else did, and we had some knocks this season. We had some real, you know, the start of the season, there was a furore built around what we achieved last season. I think the expectation levels went through the roof, and that was difficult to manage, if I'm being honest. But you know, it's something that I'll cherish every single day. It was important to me as to improve and to get better, and now I've got an opportunity here. You
have, and as you said yourself already, you know, you'll make your own decisions on what you got, but you've got a decent bunch, haven't you? I've seen them for a couple of days now.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched a lot of the games. I've watched a lot of the footage on what they've done and what they've been about. I've watched them live twice this season against Rochdale, and here against Mansfield. So I took a couple of views in, but they're a group that won't lead him. They're a group that won't, and I'll lead from within them. You know, I won't lead on top of them. I'll find out everything about them. I'll get to know them. I've had 3 days with them, and they've been a good 3 days. But they're a group that want to get better. They want to learn, and they want to engage in it. And I've said to them today, you know, if there's anybody who doesn't, my life's, you know, I'm here to make your life better. If at any point I make it worse, then let's have a chat about it, and we can part company. So they know exactly where I'm coming from. It's important as a human being that they enjoy the work, that they go home to the families, and you know, and they have a great time with the families and kids. And I've spoken to the players on that. And too many footballers, if they're not playing or they get the sulk on, they go home and make life hard for the missus and kids, and it drives me up the wall, because we've got a wonderful opportunity as a player to play this brilliant game. And you know, some people, they don't grasp it, and football time runs out on you. So it's the quickest time that there ever is. Football time is quicker than normal time, and I'm just hoping this group of players grasp that.
I mean, you said, I saw an interview with Gordon, you know, he said that the one thing that drives you mad, and I understand, is talent being wasted.
Yeah.
And you've got some talented players there. Are they wasting their talent, or are they just going through the motions because there's no one as number one to look to at the minute?
I think in most squads, players, you know, genuinely, it's an innate habit. Unless they get challenged every day, unless they get led every day, unless they get fed, you've only got to train for a maximum 144 days a year. That's the maximum days that you'll be asked to train on most training fields. And you know, if you can't apply yourself for them 144 days, then I've got a problem with that. There's no doubt about that. I love training as a player. I love being out there. I love working. And if they don't share that same enthusiasm, then you know, they won't be on the training ground. And the players have been told that from day one. I've then got to make an environment that they want to be on, and they want to be training, and they want to support each other. And that's my job to know, to lead them. But we've got some talent in the squad, and you know, I believe that most squads underachieve anyway. That's one fascination I've got with football. The great players in the Premiership who we see week in, week out, that's why in the Premiership, because they've got an incredible design. You know, look at the Wayne Rooney's of this world. You look at, I spoke to some of the young players about Ronaldo's performance when he scored the hat-trick. You know, for Portugal, the wantability to run in beyond people, the hunger, the desire. They've got to come to work with that desire every day.
And Ronnie said he was quite open that everybody could see where the problems were in the squad. Having had him for a couple of days, is that obvious to you?
No. Well, that's your job. You know, your job as a coach, your job as a manager, is to, you know, not concede goals, and to make goals happen, to create football, to create winning chances, to create opportunities. If you're doing that, and if you create them chances, and then we're not scoring, then it might be the personnel. But that's my job now, to find out if the personnel in that last split second, and you only probably get 10th of a second to make that cutting decision, can score goals. Defending wise, you know, there's rules of engagement which I'll teach the players. And if we don't get that right, then again it's the personnel. But what I'm prepared to do is to give this group of players time to find out what they can do and what they can't do. If they can't do it, can I make them better and improve that? If I can't improve that, then we'll have to look to improve the squad.
Do you expect you'll be doing that in January?
Oh, without a doubt. We've got a lot of names, we've got a lot of contacts, we've got a lot of people looking out for certain players, and you know, the squad, it does need 2 or 3 players, there's no doubt about that. I won't hide from that. I love recruitment. I think that a good football club is always recruiting, not just in January. It recruits you know, every day of the year if it's a good club, and that's something that we're looking at, and I've been busy with the chairman behind the scenes looking at a structure and a way to do that.
I'm sure you realise as well how tight this league is with different leaders almost every week, so is promotion still achievable?
It's something we've not spoke about, you know, and the next thing that I'm concentrating on is the next half against Northampton, because that's the only thing I can affect. Yeah. There has been a lot going on over the last 2 days, you know, it was whirlwind, obviously from signing as the manager to then, you know, Ronnie having to say goodbye to the team and then take the training session that day. That was a bit frantic, but you know, there's a lot I want to do. There's certain people I want to bring in terms of structure and to help assist what we're doing, and there's a lot to do and a lot to get through, but I've been really focused this week with the players on the plan of attack against Northampton.
Actually just made me smile. You talk about all the contacts you got in football. I remember you running around the Lang shelf and racket. I've lost my mobile, I've got Fergie's number in it, and having an absolute panic. Has that expanded since then, that contact list?
it has, and it does do, and I've made some incredible friends as well, you know, in the Championship, and in 2.5 seasons, 3 years of being there. The amount of great people in that league who were prepared to help you, but I never you know, I never lost sight of what was going on in League 2, League 1 and non-league, because I enjoy sort of, you know, non-league football as well. So we've got a big scope of contacts, we've got a big scope of players that are potentially going to come, and I think it's exciting for any manager that looks around the leagues to find players, because with the financial fair play, I think everybody's sort of stocked up and stockpiling players, and then players are going to have somewhere to play. So you know, we've certainly got an opportunity to do that in January, and then look at a bigger plan, you know, in the summer.
Just interested, you met, so it's Craig from Very Times. You mentioned that there's a style of football and a type of footballer that you're looking to bring to the club. Do you want to tell the fans a little bit about what they can expect maybe over the next?
Yeah, you know, probably not over the next few weeks, but certainly, you know, 66 days to form an habit, and you know, we've been on it with 3. We've had 3 days of that, so don't expect nothing too radical, but certainly the way I want to play football and the way I want to do things is as a player, and as what I believe in, the ugly side of the game will be maintained, the pressing side of the game will be maintained, but just asking players to just have more of a calmness and a composure on the ball, and play with a little bit more style. So, you know, I like style, but I don't like sterile games. I like the passion of football. I like a pressing style of football, and there's a lot of components got to be put together to bring that to Bury Football Club.
One of the important ways of bringing that to pass is, I guess, the coaching structure that you want to put in place. I mean, how far are you along getting the structure that you want, and what else do you need to put in place?
There's 2 things, you know, to create an environment and to develop players and to win football matches. You need infrastructure, and you need a resource of a training ground that's good and compliant to that. But you also, for specific coaching, need, you know, as good a coaches as you can bring to the football club. We're in negotiations with 2 clubs at the minute to bring two coaches in, and we're getting along with that. You know, but I won't rush for the right people. I'll wait. We'll make sure we get the right ones in, as opposed to, you know, rushing and doing something I'm not sure on. It's a bigger plan than just winning the next 3 games. So we've certainly got to have one mindset on, you know, winning football matches, but 2 on building infrastructure, because it's got to be key for this football club. You know, I've been fortunate enough to have a big influence over the likes of Craig Dawson, Will Buckley, Alfred Fondra, Glenn Murray, Chris Dagnall, Chris O'Grady, David Perkins, Tom Kennedy. All these players, Vaz Tay, Jacob Butterfield, John Stones, Paul Digby, an array of people, which that's why I've the electricity and enthusiasm I've got. When you're working with them players and making them better, and they're moving on to better things, it gives you that enthusiasm.
Yeah, you mentioned you're working with a couple of clubs to try and get the people that you want. What positions are you looking to fill still at the club?
An assistant manager, so someone who will work directly with me, and a link. Currently a goalkeeper coach, but probably do more than what just a normal English goalkeeper coach does. You know, really working on the distribution aspect of what a goalkeeper has got to bring to the table, and then probably one more specific coach. So we need the right people. You know, we'll get the resource in, we'll get the players in, but then that player will need a lot of teaching and a lot of education.
Quite a lot of work had been done in the close season, I think, of the club to try and give the club some infrastructure, because I don't think it had a great deal before the new owners arrived. I think you've got a chief scout already in place and a fitness coach. Are they remaining at the club, or are you looking to change those positions?
There's no scout, there's no chief scout or scouting system. You know, the football club at the minute. There is a strength conditioning coach, Dave Tivy, we've been working with. So you know, we're just monitoring everyone's progress, and Ben Futcher's going to remain at the football club. Ben's been a brilliant ally for me over the last three days, and the kid's a workaholic. He's prepared to learn, he's willing to learn, and I've been delighted with his endeavour up to this point.
What position will he be playing in? Will he staying in his current position, or?
We're gonna, you know, I want to develop Ben into a top coach, and I think he's got the attributes to do that. I want him to immerse himself in, you know, in my playing systems and complex passing systems, and hopefully, you know, in 2 or 3 years, Ben will become a top coach in his own right, and he's willing to learn. So he won't have a defined role, but he'll be a specific coach that will support what we're doing.
Okay. I know that you're very much interested in junior football. You've got an academy away from your current job, obviously. Is the junior side of things an important part of the reason why you came to Bury? You want to create a structure at Bury that will help the club in the future? You know,
I'm a football fan, and I think that when you are so obsessed with trying to change the game and make the game better, certainly in terms of grassroots and with the academy, you know, it just seems a natural fit. I want to know what the 14-year-olds are doing. I want to know what the 13-year-olds are doing in the football club. If that work's not good enough, I'll be all over it, because I can't stand coaches who are lazy in the pursuit of excellence. And if you're teaching a kid for an hour, then he's got to be taught to the best of your ability as a coach. So I'll be looking at that, but again, not for the short term. The short term's about, you know, building from top and down, and we're gonna have time to do that. But it's certainly something I want to get my teeth into. I'll probably take, you know, training sessions with the under-13s when I was at Rochdale. You know, I'd take the 14s, I'd take the 16s, just to see what was in there. And now that's something important to me. It's been more difficult at Barnsley, because it just, you know, the actual job can engross you at times.
Yeah. The current youth setup, is that something that you're just leaving as it is then for now? Is that what you're saying?
For now, yeah. You know, it's something that I'm not going to have the time to get involved in as closely as what I'd want up to now. I really concentrate on the first team squad and the structure surrounding that squad. And it looks now like that we're going to have to maybe move off-site for 2 or 3 days of training. You know, to give us a training ground that I can work on.
Have you got plans in place to train away from Lower Gigg throughout the winter? Because I know that it's not.
Yeah. We're trying to tie a deal up over at Lee Genesis. There's a fantastic sports village over there. It's got a swimming pool. It's got a gym. It's got 3 pitches. It's got an AstroTurf 3G. It's got a cage for small-sided football, and it's an outstanding facility. So we're just currently in negotiations to try and do something there, which is important, because, you know, it's no good getting good coaches in and then us having nowhere to do our work. Okay.
With regards to looking forward, obviously you've got your first half of a match that you can affect against Northampton. It's quite a big, important half, isn't it? Because it's obviously you're thrown straight in there that Bury are, you know, not in a position in the table that they want to be in, but obviously a good result against Northampton would do a long way to helping you make the right strides, I suppose, early doors. I mean, how's the squad looking ahead of that match, and then what's looking from them for the match?
The squad's looking good. You know, we've only got Pix, who's out injured, sort of long term, and
Sean Beale was struggling.
Sean Beale's come through it great. He's had 2 great days, so Beale's has come through really well. Honestly, you know, every manager, new manager, will sit here and say, listen, the application's been good, the commitment's been good. Been really happy with the quality. and the receptiveness, I think that's key. You know, the receptiveness of them wanting to and willing to learn and move on. But seriously, I won't be looking past the first half of Northampton, believe me, it's just the way I work. And then we can move on from there at half time. If there's things need doing, I can move on from there. It's just the way I work. You know, it's the next goal can sometimes change your football life, but certainly give that, you know, a shot of confidence. Players don't need a shot of confidence, they just need drilling and making sure that they're doing the right things at the right times, and then it becomes a habit. I've got a habit form at this football club, and that's something that, you know, I've got to do every single day with this group. You know, that's when I'd like to be judged, but you know, I want to win football matches. I'm obsessed with winning football matches, and when you're not, it can be a difficult time. So we want to win football matches, and that's what we'll be aiming to do come Saturday.
Okay. One last question for me. The loan players that you've got at the club, they've been quite an integral part of the first team so far this season. Obviously, you've got two strikers that were playing from Rotherham, and Sean's from Fleetwood. I think your left back's from Fleetwood as well. Have you been able a chance to assess them and see what you want to do with them in the future?
Absolutely. You know, it is its assessment stage. That's what we're in. You know, it's no one's on trial or anything. It's an assessment stage, and that's where we're at. 3 days in, been really happy with their application. And sometimes with a loan signing, you don't get full commitment. But with the loan signs that we've got here, they want to play for Bury Football Club. They want to play for me as a manager. And if I see anything different, things might change. But certainly over the next 4 games, I can't affect, you know, what they do and where they are in terms of the club. But we'll assess them over this period, and then and see what January brings.
Okay, thank you.
Picking up what you just said there, must have passed us by. When did the Chief Scout leave? We didn't know. So Paul every scout.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Maybe.
Is this before you had?
Before.
Oh right.
Yeah, before I come in. So yeah, there's no Chief Scout, which is great because it gives us a clean slate. You know, like I said, I do things a bit differently, and we've got a lot of contacts, got a lot of people who want to help us out. That's what I do know, and we'll draw on all that. We'll draw on all that resource.
And just going on again, picking on the back room. Am I guessing that's not your lads at Barnsley, Mickey Mellon and Martin Scott, of course, knows the club well. Are they a part of it or not?
No, they're not. No,
yeah.
No. Mickey, I'm praying he'll get that Barnsley job because he's the right man to lead that group. He's the right man to lead their charge, and he's an incredible human being. So you know, I think Mickey will get a job, and, you know, and if he does, you know, I lose that opportunity to recruit Mickey. Yeah. And you know, Martin's.
He's based in Durham, does he still live in
Durham? He's based
in
in Durham. He's got an incredibly successful academy up there that's doing brilliant, and you know, I think Martin's probably thought go up there and develop that now. You know, develop that academy because he's got a real passion for coaching.
I didn't ask this question, but with regards to the budget that you've been sort of given in January, you have mentioned that there's a lot of players out there that wouldn't necessarily require any budget to bring to the club. I mean, have you been given money to spend? Is that one of the reasons that you're here?
No, you know, I think with the players that's been recruited, there's been a lot of them. I've got to work this squad to the best of my advantage, and you know, we'll be getting a lot. The players that we'll be looking at will be getting a lot of friends helping us out with certain wage structures, and we'll be okay. We don't need to spend money, and that's one thing I promised the chairman. You know, I won't spend someone's money. I value money. I've run a family business, and it with my dad's and brother's money, and I looked after that. They looked after that. So I'll be doing the same with all the children I've ever worked for, and the owners I've worked for. I've been really frugal, and that's something that I'll bring to this football club. I don't like spending money if you don't need to.
I suppose on the flip side of that, you know what sort of wage structure it needs to get out of this division. Do you think Bury can compete with the rest of the clubs in this division in that sense? Well,
there's no set wage structure. There isn't. You know, to get out of the league, there isn't. Yeovil defied that, completely defied that. Owen Coyle at Burnley defied it, and Ian Holloway at Blackpool defied that. So there's no wage structure set that says you're going to get out. I know guys who's had ridiculous amounts of money in the Championship and not got out. I know guys in League One who's had fortunes and not got out, and certainly in League Two. So the budget doesn't determine what you do and how you get out of this league. What does determine that is the detail you put into your work, the preparation, and the recruitment, and all them things. If they come together, we'll be fine.
Okay. Are you looking forward to 8th of March, because you know it's going to be Flicker versus Hill, don't you? That's the headline, whether you like it or not. Looking forward to that one?
Of course, I'm looking forward. You know, there might be row between the two clubs, but I've got admiration for both clubs. You know, and what we achieved at the time was probably, you know, the best era that the club's had.
It's almost historical, isn't it? Well, the second time
I think it probably is. I think when we left, I think people didn't view it as that, but certainly when you look back, you know, and what, you know, what Illy's done going back in, done a fantastic job. I love watching him. I love watching Rochdale. I was down on the training ground the other week watching him. Fantastic. You know what Illy's done, gone in there in such a short space of time, and really, you know, got some assets in the team. Got some good players in the team. I know that Championship clubs are looking at some of the players. You know, within 6 to 8 months. So it's fantastic, and I've just nothing but admiration for the football club, and I'm sure that it'll be a good encounter.
Hi, I'm Rebecca from Tower FM.
Hi Rebecca.
So you brush your reins for Saturday against Northampton, and obviously January transfer window, but what do you think is realistic for the end of the season?
Just improve where we are today. Now, improving a lot of aspects. That's not improving on the points total. That's not improving. I want to improve every single aspect of what we're in control of, and all I'm in control of is a group of players. I want to improve the way the team's being watched. I want to improve the product on the pitch. I want to improve myself as a manager. So I just will put it on a better footing than it is now. And it'll be small steps, but them small steps could be big.
The club's been through a lot in the last year, so you think things are looking up then?
Well, you know, I'm not daft, and I wouldn't have joined if I didn't think this club would go in the right direction. I definitely would have signed a contract, but these things have been put in place, this infrastructure has been put in place, some of the sponsorship deals that have been put in place are incredible. And I see the bigger picture. I think there's a business developing down at Bury that I want to be a part of. But you know, my business is on the training pitch. It's on the it's out there on the grass, and that's what I want to be. So really looking forward to getting me to looking at every angle of the football club and improving it.
Sorry for being late, everybody. Apologies. The whole remain.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's about yourself.
Great day, was a good day.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we could have got sandwiches or biscuits as well.
Chairman, just going back first of all, really, you said that you're going to give Ronnie till early January. What made you change your mind?
Knowing that I could get David, really. That was a big thing. I tracked David since he was being really at Rochdale, and I followed football. As I said, I was passionate about it, so I tracked David through Rochdale and knew what he'd done at Barnsley, saw what he did at Barnsley last season, which I thought he did incredible to keep Barnsley up from the position that they were in. I think he really wrote Barnsley off at Christmas time, and other dramatic circumstances of the last day of the season that went on at there, but I'd seen what had gone on, and he was always somebody that I'd admired. I'd admired his you know, his work ethos and what he stands for as well. So when things wasn't going the way that we wanted him to go, and when Barnsley made the decision, we were coming back from Exeter, and we heard the news, and we needed to strike and move quickly to secure that.
He actually said he celebrated.
I celebrated.
So I just got sacked and you celebrated.
That's fans like that. That's just what you want. So really, this has been on the cards for a few weeks then.
Yeah, well, it was something that we'd thought about. To be honest with you, I was asked a question yesterday. What was your plan B? I said, to be honest with you, we didn't really have a plan B, because my plan A was David Flitcroft. To be honest with you, the last week or so, we was close. If Barnsley hadn't made the decision, I was close to making an approach to Barnsley. So thankfully, Barnsley did what they needed to do, which was important for us, because we wanted David Flitcroft with the vision and the future of what we wanted this football club. Yeah,
you must have a bit of sympathy around in respect, so in
yes,
the sense that
no,
his hands were tied, because he said he knew where the problems were. We said we all did. We said that to Flicker, but he couldn't do anything about it. to January.
Correct, and it was a difficult thing for Ronnie, and he was absolutely brilliant while he's been here. His work rate, his effort, Fred Barber also, you know, the amount of time that they put in here. But we just wanted to go down a different vision, really, and the philosophy that I wanted to bring to this football club was a plan, and it was going through the youth academy to overhaul that, really, because I think the last player that's come through from the youth was 6 years ago to get to the first team. So, you know, David's got a real passion for grassroots football. He's something that he wants to do, but we wanted to create a bit of a brand here for Bury Football Club and change things around. So that's something that excited me as well with David. So
prior to your conversation, have you ever spoken to him before?
We'd seen each other at a couple of games, really, hadn't we? That was it, you know. David goes and watches a lot of games of football, so there's not really a chance that you're not going to bump into him. So, and obviously we was at certain games and we bumped into each other, and you know, you talk about things, because obviously David's family's got a property background as well, so that was an interesting thing where, you know, I've got my property background as well, so it was just something that was, you know, of interest. But it was more on the football side of it to really stuck our teeth into a project here. You know, obviously we'd taken over in May. We knew there was things that we needed to sort off the pitch, but everybody judges your success by on the pitch, and where we are in the table isn't where we want to be. You know, we needed to change things around. It's not going to be an overnight success, but there was a real project, and I got in touch with David, and we met up and had a chat. So
within how long of that chat did you suddenly say, well, the enthusiasm overwhelms you, doesn't it? I remember David as a player for many years, it just overwhelms you, the enthusiasm, doesn't it?
I think it was about 5 minutes. We got a cup of coffee and we were ready then. After that, it was about 5 minutes. We'd agreed with each other that this was the way forward. We spent the next 5.5 hours talking about other things. I think we left at 1 o'clock in the morning, but it was something that was really, I'd seen David's, it's infectious, the enthusiasm. You know, I'd seen it with the way that he was with Barnsley. I looked at some of his press conferences and the way that his team talks that he'd done as well. You know, and seeing that and how he inspires people to get the best out of people. You know, David will admit himself, he always looks at the best in people, not look at the worst. So that was a big thing for me, you know, is to give people a chance and the opportunity to be successful, which is, when I sat down with him, they came across in abundance, really, and that was something that was key. So it was about 5 minutes we made the decision that he was going to be the next manager of Bury. I
remember saying to him, right, with Wickham or somewhere a few years ago, you're going to end up as a manager of this club. I mean, it took you a few years to do it, I think, didn't you? But there you are.
It's something that I think, you know, when you can lead a group and as a player, and it's coming out of the game, you know, I think the way that academies are built now, and that they get everything done for them, and there's a softness to the coaching, and I don't feel as though real leaders are being built and the characters being built in them academies. So that's something I want to try and do here, because I'm not going to just accept that no leaders are coming through anymore. We've got to build new leaders. You know, the age of the iPad and the technology and the beat box, the players don't engage anymore. So we've got to try and change all that and design leaders and make sure that they're coming out, because every dressing room needs them. Every dressing room responds to them, and you know, I enjoyed leading as a player, but I enjoy leading people into battle now.
Good news is, Chairman, he doesn't want your money, which is obviously good news for everybody. If that said, if come January, because he'll tell you his contact book's that thick, if he comes up with someone and says, look, we can get such and such a guy, he's fantastic, it might cost us a few quid, would he be able to fund that?
Yeah, the beauty about it is we're trying to run this as a business now, you know, and it's like we've sat down with David and said, listen, you know, there could be money to spend, but it's got to be done right. It's got to be, you know, and that was the key thing for me with David. It wasn't a case of he was just going to spend money stupidly. I know that. He knows how important a pound note is. You know, he knows how important the value of money there is. So that was something that was key for me as well. And I have complete trust in David. I have complete trust where I don't have to worry about it, because I know he's somebody that will think about things and doing things the right way. So if the right player comes along, we've got to look at it, we'll sit down and we'll discuss it, and if the decision's the right thing to go for, then we'll make sure we go and do it right.
I mean, I'm excited here, Chair, because really this is your first appointment since you've been a chairman of a football club, isn't it?
Yeah,
because you had the Messiah prior, and then of course from Ronnie.
It's a good question. I mean, this was my first managerial appointment, and I needed to make sure I made the right one. That's why it took a bit of time for me to do it. I had a lot of applicants come in for the job. I think it's a job that was a bit sought after, really, because of where we want to try and go. But I needed somebody that would buy into my vision. But with David, I didn't need to sell my vision.
Yeah.
He totally understood it. Totally understood it. It wasn't a case of me trying to work hard to sell that vision to him. He got it from the minute I saw him. And now I'm so excited about what we can do, that by making the right managerial appointment, and I believe we've made 120% the right managerial appointment, and the fans are also all behind it. You know, they can understand what we're trying to do here. And I just hope the fans, you know, appreciate that and come down. You know, we've tried to make things affordable. We're trying to go places. It isn't going to be an overnight success. There's a plan and a strategy of what we want to achieve here. But, you know, we want them to come down in the numbers and start supporting what we're doing.
You've seen all the games. You've had said to Flickers that anybody will make his own mind up. They're a good bunch. Do you feel the same? The core is there, isn't it?
It is, and we said this, you know, the amount of times I've been into opposition directors after the game and said how we've not won the game is unbelievable. We're creating chances. There's certain aspects that we need to work on, but I saw David on the training ground yesterday and I couldn't stop smiling, because it was just, it was infectious about what was going on, and he's so passionate and enthusiasm. You know, we had to pull him off. We had something else to do. We had to get him off the training ground because he loves spending his time there. But the players were responding to that. But we've got some good players at this club. You know, we have got good players, and we need to embrace that. They also need to be managed the right way and managed the right way. And I believe David can. You know, he's more than capable of doing that.
Backroom staff, saying he's negotiating. Is that something you'd like to get sorted ASAP?
Yeah, we're trying to work very hard behind the scenes at the moment to try and get that in place. We're hoping by the end of this week we'll have another addition to the backroom staff this week. Yeah. And then hopefully we'll get one or two more in going forward. But the types of people that David wants to bring to this club is people that are ambitious. You know, they've got experience, they've got the knowledge, they want to work hard, they put the time and effort in. And David's, you know, being very selective about his backroom staff, what he would like to go out and identify.
I think the key thing is that when you're working for the chairman, he doesn't do lazy people. He won't surround himself with lazy people or negative people. And there's a lot of coaches out there that are positive, they're enthusiastic, they're workaholics, and them are the people that we've identified to work for the chairman and work for this football club. I don't do lazy. I never have, I never will, but they've got to have a passion, they've got to understand, they've got to immerse themselves in what the new Bury player is going to look like and what the new Bury team is going to look like. And that word immerse will be massive, because if they don't and don't want to do and think they're just coming for a job, they won't last long under the chairman's watchful eyes.
Just interested, I think Bury's quite a unique football club in many ways. Do you expect to see maybe somebody with an affinity with the club to come back, like people that have been here before, maybe that understand the place?
Possibly, certainly an affinity with the Northwest, because we are blessed, you know, to be in this area, and I watch a lot of games in this area. But you know, when you look at the logistical position and geographical position of just being down the road from Preston, Burnley, you know, the two super clubs, Man United, Man City. We've got Liverpool, Blackburn on the doorstep. We're almost satellited by some incredible football teams who's got good owners and good managers. And you know, Wigan with Uwe, we made contact with Uwe yesterday, a new contact in the Northwest. And you know, we're blessed that we've got so many good people that we can contact and try and forge alliance to. And you know, Bury do the business right now. So I'm sure with the professionalism we're going to bring off the pitch and on the pitch, there'll be a lot of clubs wanting to do business with us and entrusting us. It's really important that I get the right coaches in, because you know, if a Premier League wants to entrust you with a player, you've got to do things right. Your timing's got to be right. Your punctuality, your respect, your discipline, your honesty, your enthusiasm, your injury prevention, your post-match work, your analysis, your recovery work. All that has got to be absolutely synchronised for the top clubs to give you players.
And you mentioned sort of time frames. I mean, would you like to go into your first match with your assistant in place? Is that something that you sort of expect?
It's not something that we've needed to work on to. You know, the chairman will wait for the right people. We're not going to rush and bring someone in and then have a discussion saying we've got it wrong. You've got to have them in comfort discussions first, and we'll wait. So if if the assistant's not in place, then you know, to have Ben Flitcroft stood by my side, then I'd be honoured to have Ben Flitcroft stood by my side as my assistant on Saturday, and you know, we'll go from there.
No other questions really, other than that, I suppose the possibility of the delay between, you know, Kevin leaving and David coming, was that solely so you could get David, or was it just the way of what you wanted to do? I mean, you mentioned a lot of applicants.
Yeah. I mean, generally we didn't look at any CVs. You know, we had a lot of applicants come in and we put them in a file drawer, because what happened was we'd done a heavy recruitment, as you know, over the summer, and to bring somebody in would have been, I think, would have been costly for the club, because they'd have maybe gone out and said, well, these are our players, we don't want these certain players, or we want to bring our own players in. And I didn't want that. I wanted to take my time in getting the right person on board, the right manager on board. Ronnie, we asked him to do the job because he knew the players. He knew about the players. Obviously had respect for Ronnie as well. He'd won the dressing room there, to say that, and he did a phenomenal job. But it came to a point, you know, if I could ever get the manager in that I wanted to do as the first managerial appointment, the plan A was David Flitcroft. You know, would he leave a championship club to come to a League Two club? Certainly not at the start of the season, he wouldn't have done. You know, after what success he had there last year. So did I think, well, hang on, this could be something where it could happen, and things happen for a reason, I believe, sometimes, you know, in football. And for David to get that, to get told on the Saturday night that he wasn't going to be working with Barnsley Football Club no more, like I said, it kind of gave me and the chief exec, looked in the car driving back from Exeter with a bit of a smile on our face. It was my job then to convince David that this was the vision for him to go forward, because it was to drop down to League Two. You know, I know for a fact there was a lot of other clubs that was interested in David's services. There was a lot of clubs that had sacked the manager in the in that week that David had gone. There was, I think there was 7 managerial sackings that week. So could we entice him to come to Bury? Could we entice him to be involved in that challenge? And like I said, there was higher clubs that would have wanted his services. So we felt we had to move quickly. I felt like I had to get in front of him, because I didn't want him thinking this was just Bury Football Club with League Two. But I do know David had seen what had gone on in the background of the work here at this football club in the summer to repair, doing the renovation project that we've done. He was interested at. He also knew about the JD deal that we'd done, and was, you know, very impressed with what that had been done as well. So he knew this club was going places, and when we met, it was something that we said, this is a live project. This isn't something that's potentially going to happen on a pipe dream. This is a live project. But to get where we want to be on the pitch, I needed David to come in and stamp his authority on what I wanted. So, like I say, it was quite, we were both so passionate about each other. I think David said it took him 10 minutes to understand where we were going to go, because he knew the passion that I had to try and make this a success. And we will make this a success. So that was really the plan A, and there was no plan B.
Okay, fair. But just one other question really with regards to that. You mentioned about Ronnie Jepson. You had a plan A with David Flitcroft. You weren't really sure what the plan B was, but you did back Ronnie Jepson in the loan market, for example. Yeah. There's a player there in Danny Nardiello that you brought to the club with a view to possibly keeping. Is that deal in place, or is it something that David has to look at now over the next month? It's something that David has to look at. You know, for me, David's got complete control over player transfers and signings and that what wants to do, and he's got to build his squad now of how he sees fit. But you know, David's also got a lot of other targets in mind. We sat down and discussed this about people that he'd like to bring in the club, because David plays a certain type of football, which is the type of football that we want. So you know, David wanted that, and he's identified key targets that he would like to bring into this club. So there'll be certainly, I would have thought, some movement in the transfer market in January. So that's something that we're looking at doing, and it's down to David now to assess the players and see which players he wants to keep. Unfortunately, I think he's only had 2 days of training so far, so it's not been the easiest thing to do. But you know, seeing the enthusiasm on the training pitch, seeing the enthusiasm of the players now that are there, that they're all knowing that this is a clean slate for them. They're all working hard, but you know, I know David sets his barometers of what he wants to achieve.
I think a great football team always evolves. You know, and a football club has always got to be looking at recruitment and keep it evolving. You know, I didn't think that Pep Guardiola with Barcelona could potentially go one better. But I think he might, over the next 2 or 3 years, with what he's got at Bayern, I think he will evolve, and he'll evolve that team. So that's something that, you know, where we're at, a good club with a good structure is always evolving. You've got short-term targets, medium-term targets, but we're going to have long-term targets, targets that we might have to invest a little bit of money in to really at the end get some end game and you know, have a conveyor belt of players that can come through and you know, we'll hopefully in the future sell on our terms when the time's right. But that's 6 years not to get any players at Bury Football Club. This is a football club and a pitch that we should be seeing players that have come through our academy, come through our School of Excellence. And you know, I had the pleasure of working with John Stones, who come through Barnes' academy. You know, when you can work with a player like that and then see him at Everton doing what he's doing, you know, there's nothing that gives me more pride. And you know, I remember watching Davey Worrell here, Dave Buchanan, Nicky Adams, Simon Whaley. I played with Dave Nugent, but that's a long time ago. It's a long time ago, and you know, it's difficult in the Championship to blood youngsters at times because of the pressure to get out and stay in the league. But at Bury Football Club, if we've got patience to what we do and the courage to what we do, then we've got to be playing our own players and making sure they're coming through. That's going to be key to the development of this football team.
I think the other thing as well, what David just touched on there, is that the deal's got to be right for Bury Football Club. It's on our terms.
Yeah.
You know, we're not under pressure to go to sell on somebody else. This isn't going to be, say, well, if a player comes in or somebody offers it. It's when it's the time right for Bury Football Club. You know, that's what we've got to do. But the hard work that goes in behind the scenes now is what we're looking to put in place. So this club's in control of where it's going to go in its destiny.
Did you get a bit of the wow factor when Flickers gave you the names of lads you'd like to bring in?
Yeah, there was a few there, and you know, it was exciting, really exciting times there. But you know, we wasn't going to get carried away with this season. We know that we've got a job to do. You know, the job starts in the first half on Saturday against Northampton, which is crucial for us. You know, to kick on. But you know, we've got a lot of games this season still to play. You know, so anything's possible. You know, anything's possible. The division's that tight in this league. If you put a strong run together, you can be really up there. And we're very aware of that. But you know, we're not going to change a brand of football overnight. You know, like I said, David's been in here for 2-3 days now to work with the players. We've got to bring players in. We've got to develop players, and there's a full programme and a philosophy now of what we want to produce. But we want people to come down to the football club and enjoy watching a game of football. To go away and go, I've really enjoyed it.
I had a mad statement the other day. It was something on the lines of fans pay the money so they're allowed to moan, or they can moan. And I look at that and I think, no, we're trying to build a club where the fans are engaged by the players out there. The players are engaged by the fan support. The players respect the fan support. So come and pay your money and enjoy what you watch. Enjoy the products. Enjoy watching the team work hard. Enjoy watching them attack with a flair and creativity and a vision. Enjoy watching them defend for their lives. That's what the vision should be. That everybody's in sync. So I totally disagree with that statement of you pay your money, come and moan. No, pay your money. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. Let's be part of it. And that's what we're trying to bring. And I think, you know, 7 or 8 years on, when I got that support from this football, from this group of supporters, it's certainly, I found probably the most consistent form. Because when you're happy on the pitch and you're getting that support, you can find consistent performance, and I certainly did when I was here.
It's one thing, you know, it's like football, the rumour mill and all this sort of thing. And you've been linked with the job at Bury a few times, I think. Someone was trying to tell me the other day you turned it down twice. Was there any truth in that?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Can I ask one?
3 times I turned it down.